Hi, I'm Adam Gazzaley. I'm a professor of neurology, psychiatry, and physiology at the University of California, San Francisco, and I am the executive director of Neuroscape, a research center to explore how we can use technologies to improve our brain function. So 10 years ago, I became frustrated with our research in understanding how the brain changes as we get older and not doing anything about it. And so my idea was, how can we apply the tools of neuroscience and modern technology to improve function in older adults? We have shown through many years of research that as we get older, our attention abilities and our very short-term memory decline. The idea was not to reach into the standard toolbox of physicians, which are small molecules, also known as pharmaceuticals, and create something entirely new. The idea was to build an experience that was very adaptive and personalized to an individual, that would challenge the brain in such a way that it would improve their function, not just on the game itself, but on abilities outside of the game. And so in order to accomplish that, I came up with the idea of building a video game. A video game that would be immersive and engaging, so you'd play deeply and for a long period of time, but challenged your ability to deal with multiple forms of interference, distraction, and multitasking. And then to address the hypothesis that we had, that if you played such a game, we'd see improvements in these abilities outside of gameplay. So the game that we created, NeuroRacer, is similar to other games in that it involves you deeply in gameplay, which we think is important to harness the brain's plasticity to change it. But one of the chief ways that it's different is that it's constantly adapting the challenges and the rewards based on your performance in real time. So while you play it, it's reading out how fast you are, how accurate you are, and then it's using that data to give you a very customized experience. This allows the game not to become so hard that it's frustrating or not so easy that it's boring, and challenges you right at that perfect level that we think is essential to changing how your brain will function. So Akili is now submitting a proposal to have the game that came from NeuroRacer approved as a Class 2 medical device to treat pediatric ADHD. We hope that this will be approved before the end of the year, if not hopefully in 2019 in the early part of the year. And when that all happens, this will be the first non-drug treatment for ADHD, the first prescribable video game, and the first of a new category of medicine that we consider digital medicine. So part of the process over the years of taking what was a research study and moving it into the real world was learning how to first file intellectual property, to be able to protect the ideas and the methodology behind NeuroRacer. And so for that, I've been working with the Office of Technology Management within Innovation Ventures at UCSF in order to file that first patent. And from there, we worked to license the patent with a company that I co-founded called Akili Interactive Labs. So it's been an exciting journey for me. My education as a doctor and a scientist didn't really include starting businesses and protectable property, but I've learned a lot over the years. It's been great to work with that office and actually get an education in how to accomplish this. So what has occurred is that the patent that we filed on the methodology of NeuroRacer, the game. Now the patent's not for the game itself, the patent is for the game engine, how it delivers an experience through very specific algorithms. That has now been licensed exclusively to Akili Interactive, who's been building a much better game on top of that core engine. So it's been a really exciting journey to watch this go from a research idea into a research study that we published in Nature in 2013 to a patent that was filed and now issued in both the US and Japan just a couple months ago, into the formation of a company and now a product that we're trying to take right into the clinical world. So with Akili, we're now taking the technology behind NeuroRacer into clinical trials to see if we can get it approved as the first digital medicine. Our first indication will be children with ADHD, and we'll hope that will be approved by next year. But we just view this as the beginning of a whole new field. So we have another technology with a patent associated with it for a game that we call Body Brain Trainer. And what Body Brain Trainer does is it challenges you both cognitively and physically in the same interactive experience. Our hypothesis that we're testing in the laboratory now is that you'll have better cognitive outcomes if you play this game being physically embodied and challenged in it than if you just play it with your fingers and your eyeballs. And so Akili is now licensing this technology as the second technology from UCSF, and then we'll take this also through another pathway of research and clinical validation. Other projects that we've been working on for many years to develop that are now all filed as patents that are available for licensing. The first is one called MetaTrain. And MetaTrain is a tablet game that was inspired by the principles of concentrated meditation. So it's a game that's played largely with your eyes closed that helps you focus internally. And we're just now generating some interesting data that we'll be publishing showing that it actually helps to improve sustained attention abilities. The other game that we're looking to license is called Rhythmicity. Rhythmicity is based on the principles of rhythm and music as a tool to help brain function. So we know that rhythm, which involves anticipation of events to occur as well as precise timing, is very closely connected with how our brain works in a fundamental level. So we're now working on the game Rhythmicity through a series of studies to show that it helps improve cognition outside of rhythm. And the last technology is known as cognitive brain-computer interface. And this is a new approach to neurofeedback, where we record brain activity in real time using EEG, and then feed that data into the game engine. So now the game is not just responsive to how fast or accurate you are, it's actually responding to what's going on in your brain in the moment. And we think that this will help improve the effects beyond just using behavioral data to guide the challenge and the rewards. Well, so my advice to other faculty out there is to think about your research as the foundation to translation. That's something that could reach people directly in their lives to help them. This is something I never thought about. I was doing experiments, publishing peer-reviewed papers, never thinking about intellectual property and starting a company, but it has been an incredibly gratifying part of my life now. So as you do research and have unique ideas, it's really helpful to think about what might be protectable property and then to talk to your technology transfer offices, get out in front of it, because once you make too many public disclosures, that doesn't become possible anymore. So you really want to be very proactive if you have any ideas, and don't be afraid of the concept of intellectual property. It makes a lot of sense once you start learning about it. If it is going to be an idea that is picked up by a company, whether it's one you start or an existing company, having that protection around your ideas and property is something that makes it a lot more likely to get translated outside of the laboratory.